Amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Amen. This afternoon, we're going to be on the same scriptures as Reverend Caleb, and I'll be speaking to you from the subject matter of all for one. See, I don't even have to read the scripture. It's the same exact ones he read. Amen. So you guys already had that. So that's about to skip. So we can just go on to it. All for one. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Do anybody, do I have anybody in here that ever played sports? Amen. And we know that when we play sports, it's a team sport. We say all for one and one for all. You know, that's one of the slogans that we say when we play sports. And what happens when we lose a game, it's a team sport. So we can't blame our player, even though we know inside, like, man, if he would have just caught the ball, if he wouldn't have fumbled, we would have won. But it's a collective sport. It's all for one. So therefore, when we get back to practice, we got to work on that person holding the ball a little bit better. We got to work on that person where he's weak at. Why? Because the team is strong as a weakest link. So we got to build on that team and we work on him because it's all for one and one for all. That's what happens in sports. We say things like, there is no one above the team. When one mess up, we all mess up. We in this together. We should say it's all for one and one for all. Even when we break times in huddles, we say all for one and one for all when we break it and go home. I remember I fumbled the ball, cost us the game, and I felt all of it up in my pocket and kept reminding me, brother, you carried this whole team. We did this together. You know, but it still hurts. But when that one is out there, we got to focus on that one to get them stronger. No, and if you didn't play sports, we have other things that we didn't have. We didn't have things that we value that we do some of the darndest things, all for that one thing that we value. It could be your material things. It could be some friend that you value. It could be your boyfriend. It could be your girlfriend. It could be your spouse. But sometimes we go out our way all for that one person. And others be looking like, man, he tripping over that one man. He's sticking over that one woman. Better not be no man he tripping off. But she's tripping off that one man and he's tripping off that one woman. Don't you know it's more women out there? Don't you know it's more men out there? And he's doing some of the darndest things for that one. And they're not even married. But he's taking advantage of things. So we do some of the darndest things and from the outside looking in, we be saying, oh, I would never do that. But you see, that's not what you value. That's what that person values, and we all are different. You see, to some people, the world is everything. But to somebody, you are their world. To somebody, you are their world. How many of you ever heard that slogan before? To somebody, you are their world, but everybody else, the world is to them, but you are that one person that they value the most. And when you are someone's world, that person would do almost anything. Well, in our text, that's what Jesus is trying to get across to the Pharisees. In our text, we have Jesus dealing with the Pharisees and scribes as they were murmuring against each other about Jesus because why? He was sitting over there with the sinners. And we know that the devout Jews never sits with sinners. Why? Because they was unclean, ritually unclean. But Jesus over there, so the Pharisees and everybody said, man, he over there tripping. But Jesus came for them. He didn't come for those that were righteous. He came for those that was dirty. I came to sit with them. But they murmuring against themselves. And that's when Jesus had to go off in his parable and tell them about the lost coin. And he had to tell them about the lost son. And he had to tell them about the sheep. Because he wanted them to understand from a worldly standpoint what I'm trying to tell you from a heavenly view. And when he was given a parable, he says about the lost son, he said, there was a certain man who had two sons, and the younger of them asked his father for the portion of his goods, of his inheritance. So his father gave it to him. And he went out into the field, and he went out to the far country and wasted his substance with riotous living, just as Doc said. He wasted it. Why? He wasn't ready to handle the blessings his father had for him. He didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know how to make it work for him, and instead he wasted it. And don't you know, we have some people right now with our kids, they want things, and we sometimes got to let them get out there and learn. Because see, sometimes the experience is one of the best of teachers. Experience will have you out there and you go through some things and then you go through and you get humbled and you understand. See, I can't whoop you how God can whoop you. So when I'm trying to tell you something, I'm trying to get you focused and give you the right thing because I'm telling you out of love and you're not listening, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And let God straighten you out. You see, unfortunately, that's the way it is. They don't understand how many pitfalls they can avoid just by listening to your guidance, especially when it's coming from a place of love. This father's son got out there and he spent all what he had on righteous living, and suddenly there was a famine that came in. See, God knows how to get your attention. There wasn't nothing to eat. There wasn't no food, so he found himself out there with the pigs. He found himself out there with the pigs. And he said, what am I doing out here? It came to him. He said, my father, he has people out there working for him. And I'm out here with the swine. I'm eating out the garbage and everything. I could go back home and be with my father. Just let me go ahead and repent to my father and God. Let me repent for the wrong that I have done. I could just go ahead and return home. And he said, I know I'm not even worthy to be called his father's son. He said, but I'm going to go ahead and repent and go back to my father's house. And then we see that the father seen that his son was coming on home. And the father looked afar and seen this. And he was so proud that his son is coming back home. And the father ran out there and he embraced him. The son didn't know what to think because he said, I done done you wrong. But the father said, all for one and one for all. I'm going to get my son. So he took him in and he put a robe on him. He put a ring on him. He put some shoes on him and said, come on, my son has made it back home. And his other son was there and said, hold on, I've been with you this whole time. And we didn't never have a celebration like that. But he said, you've been with me this whole time. Everything I had is yours. All what I have is yours. But your brother, he was dead. And now he's alive. He was lost. And now he come home. It's time to celebrate. It's time to rejoice. And Jesus said, that's how it is in heaven. The angels are rejoicing over one sinner that comes to Christ. I'm trying to get you Pharisees and scribes to understand what I'm talking about. This father was all for one and one for all. How many of you ever lost something of value and when you found it, you just couldn't help yourself and you just start shouting? You just start shouting. There was something on the inside that you said, oh man, I got to shout about this. It's you blowing up on the inside. We know the song, praise on the inside, but we got to show it on the outside. Something inside of us just jump for joy, and especially when you lost it for a long time. If you lost it for a minute, you go find your key. Oh yeah, that's cool. I found it. But let that key or something be missing for a month. And then you find it. That's what I'm talking about here. This son was out there, spent all what he had. So now I'm bringing him back home. Have we ever been there? All right, then Jesus said, Jesus spoke another parable. He spoke to the woman having 10 pieces of silver and how she reacts losing one piece. Now she had 9 others, but that one is just so important to her. That one is just as important to her as the others. She had 9 left. Jesus said she will light a candle and sweep the house and seek diligently until she find it. Isn't that how we do? When we have something of value and we lose it, we tear the house up. Flip the mattress. Now, I know I just had it. I know I just had it and everything. But guess what? When you least expecting it, it pops up. And then you remember, I did sit that there. I was just moving too fast. I did sit that over there. But it's a rejoice that goes on. You start to rejoice. It's time to rejoice. This woman here, after finding it, calls all her friends and all her neighbors and tell them, come on over. I found my piece of silver that I lost. It's time for us to celebrate. And again, likewise, Jesus is trying to get the Pharisees and scribes to understand that's these sinners and publicans. Those that are lost. And if I can just say one of them, it's all worth my trip. Don't you know Paul said, I became as a Jew to gain the Jew? He said, I became as those without the law to gain those that's without the law. He said, I became unto men all things, so by all means I may save some. We're talking about all for one and one for all. I came for all those that are lost. Don't you know, church, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repented? Because they see we got out there all for one. So as soon as one gets saved, we rejoicing. That means if someone in here today is lost and you give your life to Christ, the angels in heaven are rejoicing over just you. Yes. They're rejoicing over just you. And that's why we preach the gospel. We preach the gospel because we know that one sinner will bring so much joy. It's rejoicing. We build in the kingdom of God. You build a brick, you build a house of brick by brick, board by board, stick by stick. But guess what? You bring it all together, you can build a development. You don't just that one brick is just as important as the others. That one stone is just as important as the other. So when we preach, I don't care if I'm preaching to 30 people, I'm going to preach the same. I don't care if I'm preaching to 10 people, I preach the same. I don't care if I'm preaching to one person, I preach the same. Why? Because it's about saving one soul at a time. Because when you save that one soul at a time, guess what? The kingdom starts to grow. When we got to this church, it was 7 members, and now today is 50. But it started all by saving one soul at a time. Now in the text, Jesus told him another parable. He said, he made it personal to him. At first he just told some story, then he made it personal. He said, which one of you will have 100 sheep, and if you lost one of them, do it not you leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which you lost until you find it? He said, which one of you? So you see, as a shepherd, the shepherd watch over the sheep. And the shepherd knows that these sheep are skittish animals. These sheep want to be in community. But these sheep have no defense mechanism. They are prey animals. The attacker's trying to come get the sheep. So a good shepherd is going to go to war for this one sheep that gets lost. Because he understands and knows that this one sheep is in danger. See, the sheep, when predators come, the sheep will run back to the fold. Why would he run back to the fold? Because he understands that there's strength in numbers. So I got to go back to my fold so I can have somebody, I can look like we working together, we all empowered. So therefore, this man, when the sheep is out there, he said, I got to go and find my sheep, because the shepherd is a protector. The shepherd is a provider. The shepherd is the guider. Yeah. But see, when you hire a shepherd, he don't care nothing about the sheep. He just care about his money. But when you have a good shepherd that's in it, he will lose his life for his sheep. He don't care how much you paying. You ain't even got to be paying it, because I love my sheep. I'll give my life for that sheep because he's lost. I know it could be a dangerous thing for a sheep wandering off because of the prey animals that's after them. Therefore, if one gets lost, that shepherd knows that sheep is in serious danger. And for that one that's lost, the shepherd will leave 99 sheep that's safe and go out there to find that one that's lost. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 sheep, he will leave 999 to go out and find that one that's out there that's lost. He doesn't care which sheep it is, just as long as it's one of his sheep. And he will search diligently until he finds that sheep. It don't matter how long it takes, just as long as he finds one that's lost. And when he finds that sheep, he will pick him up on his shoulder and carry him back to the fold. Because he's wounded, he's out there, we got to carry on back. But he's rejoicing on the way. And when he get back home, just as the woman that lost her coin, she's saying, hold on. He's saying, bring all my friends, all my family, let's get together and let's celebrate. Because I done found that sheep that has got out there and was lost. So no more is my sheep in danger. No more is my sheep hungry. No more is my sheep vulnerable for predators. No longer is my sheep laid out for the slaughter. I'm excited, for I found that which was lost. Yeah. Likewise, joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repents, more than over 99 just persons which need not repentance. He said, I came for those that's sick. I came for those that's lost. These sinners and these publicans that you see me eating with, they're lost. And I'm trying to show them the way to the Father. I'm bringing them back home. I'm bringing them back to my fold. You know, the other day, I was watching Harriet. You probably seen Harriet, about Harriet Tubman. All for one. Harriet Tubman was one that escaped slavery, and when she got out there and she became a free woman, she used to go by Mitzi, and she changed her name to Harriet Tubman. And she was gone for a while, and she felt the goodness of what freedom feels like, because she was enslaved this whole time, and she felt this goodness of what freedom looks like. So you know what she did? She said, I got to go and get my husband. I know you're a free man, but I'm going back down there. I'm going to risk my life and travel 100 miles. Why? Because I'm going all for that one. I value my husband. I want him to feel what I feel. Because, see, I was lost. I was in slavery. He don't have this freedom that I have. So she went all the way back 100 miles just to get her husband. But her husband thought she had died and he had remarried. And she said, why am I here, God? What is the purpose of this? And you know what? She said, I'm going to get my family now. And she went to her family house and where they were slaved at, and she brought back 5 of them with her. The guy doubted her and said, don't you go back down there. And she said, no, God is going to guide me just as he guided me here. They was in disbelief that she made it on her own all the way to freedom. So she went back and got some more and came back, and he was amazed that she done this. Then she went back and got some more. And she came back with them and got some freedom. Then she went back and got some more. She kept going back and got some more. And then they incorporated her into the Underground Railroads. And when it was all said and done, don't you know it was 750 slaves that became free. And Harriet Tubman was there. All for one. We standing here right now, all for one. Martin Luther King stepped in where Rosa Parks wouldn't get up on the bus. All for one. We're going to fight for each other because all for one and one for all. Jesus was telling them, I'm here for those that's lost. So again, all Jesus is doing here is answering a question, with some questions to give them something to think about. Remember, they asked Jesus, why are you fellowshipping with those sinners? These are my sheep. They are lost. I came to call those that are lost back into the fold. And you know that, you know what, church, when we were yet sinners, Christ did just that. As he said, he's a good shepherd, and the shepherd that's good will die for his sheep. When we were yet sinners, Christ said, I died because you was lost, and I died so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. He died so that you and I can live in heaven for eternity with him. Those that have been saved, we once was lost sheep. Those of us that saved, we once was a lost coin. And those of us that were saved, guess what? Sometimes we're like the lost son, but we're able to come back to the fold because of Jesus. All we got to do is ask forgiveness of our sin, and he'll bring us back home to the fold. So thanks be to God that I'm not lost anymore. Thanks be to God I'm not what I used to be. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, you can praise the Lord right now. If you know what I'm talking about, you might as well shout amen. If you're glad and you know what I'm talking about, you should be standing on your feet praising the Lord. Because we once was lost, but now we found. We once was blind, but now we see. And we want others to see this freedom that we feel today. Just as Harriet Tubman, I want y'all to feel this. Just as when God called us to preach and walk this walk and how God bless us, I want you to feel what we feel, but you first got to give your life to Christ. You see, Jesus did it for me, and he'll do it for you no matter if you saved now or not. We all was lost in sin at some point. We all inherited sin from Adam when he did the forbidden fruit. But guess what? It says that by this man's disobedience, we all were made sinners. But guess what? By Jesus' obedience, many shall be made righteous. He died, all for one and one for all. There might be someone here today that's lost and can't seem to find your way. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man coming up to the Father but by me. I don't care if you're the chiefest of sinners, he came for you. I don't care if you're a murderer, he came for you. I don't care if you're a thief, he came for you because you're sick. You're lost. I came for those that are lost. I came to bring them out. All you got to do is surrender and give your life to Christ, and he'll set you back in the fold. He'll start to clean you up. See, God said, I gave my son so that you can live. And whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Jesus was right there with the Father, and guess what? Jesus said, oh, my sheep is lost. Let me go on down there. So Jesus took off his robe of glory, all for one. Jesus was brutally beaten, all for one. Jesus was spit on, all for one. Jesus was humiliated, all for one. Jesus was crowned with these thrones and crowns all over his head, all for one. Jesus was beaten with 40 lashes, all for one. He said, I came for this. I came to die. Jesus was pierced in his side, all for one. Jesus carried and pinned sin to the cross, all for one. Jesus laid down his life, all for one. But that wasn't the end of the story. Jesus said, I may lay down my life, but guess what? I'm going to be the one to pick it back up. And 3 days later, early Sunday morning, he got up with all power of heaven and earth in his hand. And guess why he did it? All for one and one for all. Are you that one that have not given your life to Christ? I'm looking at those that didn't stand. Are you that one that Christ is talking to this morning? The door of the church is open. All for one and one for all. You see, Jesus gave us a commission, and he told